Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your guy Bendu, the illest film reviewer and fan in the galaxy, back again. And you already see SM Young, so you know what we doing, bro. Say what's up to the people.
What's up, guys? How we doing?
Shit, they feeling good after that Mando episode, bro.
Oh yeah, I'm feeling good after that Mando episode. That
Oh
thing
my
had
god.
had. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but like lately I've been on like a Star Wars craze ever since Mando season 2 just like started dropping.
See, I
It's just
don't know, man. I don't know. I've definitely been in the Star Wars like craze like ever since Rise of Skywalker came out, man. Just
I hope that was a joke, but
oh, it wasn't. It was like completely serious, like
yeah, you love them, John Boyega. No, with the
no.
oh man. So are we covering Mando first? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, dog. Like,
All right, just making
bruh.
sure.
Fuck. Spoiler alert right now. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I'm spoiling it right now. Luke fucking Skywalker, son. That is the Luke Skywalker we've been waiting to see. That is the Luke Skywalker fucking Ryan fucking Johnson deprived us of. That's the fuck. Yo, only thing like I told you when that shit happened, I wish it was I wish it was Sebastian Stan because the fucking CGI looked weird once when you really looked at him, he looked kind of weird, but it was like whatever. Like they'll bring Sebastian on later, do whatever they need to do.
Yeah,
That shit was so and even the way they introduced them, and you could kind of see Moff Gideon kind of figured what was going on. You feel me?
yeah,
Like as
yeah,
soon as he saw that X-wing, he knew what was about to happen.
yeah. Because considering that most of the Empire probably knows about Luke Skywalker after he just destroyed the second Death Star,
Exactly.
and if you see a green wielding lightsaber that you heard about before, I think that's a problem in the hands of Moff Gideon.
Yeah. Well, did I say I wonder did Homegirl know? Did
Who?
Cara Dune know?
Hmm, that's a good question. Maybe because Cara Dune and Princess Leia are both from Alderaan, so there's a
True.
chance that maybe she watched like a recording from Alderaan with I mean not from Alderaan, from Princess Leia with Luke Skywalker or something. That would be cool. Like that's like small things that I don't think about. But man, that episode was just perfect.
Yeah,
Just
like I guess we'll start from the beginning, like just the intro to it, like with the dog fight and everything, like Boba Fett and the Slave One doing his thing, and
yeah,
like that whole that scene kicked it off for me because it let me know what we were in for. How'd you
yeah.
feel about it?
I felt honestly it was great. It was definitely different to see Cara Dune kind of show a different side of herself. Like especially after the pilot decided, oh yeah, let's try to taunt her with telling her that you watched Alderaan blow up.
Yeah,
Like
let's taunt the muscular lady that's way bigger than
yeah, who
you.
carries a heavy blaster with her everywhere she goes. Like I think you messed up heavy.
Facts. She blew half his fucking face off.
Yeah, and did you see the clone engineer? His ear was like burnt afterwards.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was like, man, she's not playing games, but like, who would? Because the Empire's ruthless, especially the way that they do their tactics in securing peace. like,
yeah. Bringing peace and order to the galaxy. It's like,
yeah,
but it's weird because like I've always seen the Empire through the evil lens, but I don't know. Just I see it in more of a nuanced way. Like, and I feel like in Moff Gideon's mind, he genuinely sees himself as bringing order to the galaxy. Like, I think that's just the number Palpatine did on people. You feel me? Like, obviously, we know Palpatine wanted power for selfish reasons. Like, he knows that what he's doing is evil, but it's like the people around him don't know that. They think like, oh, the galaxy was like kind of crazy before, and this guy brought order. So this is like, I guess this is the way things need to be.
yeah, yeah. It's definitely it's weird to see that like a villain actually be kind of like you don't want them to be right about it, but considering that the way of the Jedi didn't work for the Republic, and the Republic's ways didn't work because it all folded like a lawn chair. So
Facts, yeah.
maybe there's a different way to like go about stuff, but we don't know because we don't know too much about Moff Gideon. We don't know where he came from. From what my recollection is that he's kind of like a character that all we know is that he beat Bo-Katan in hand-to-hand combat or something, or to get the dark saber. So that's all we
Oh,
know.
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to
Oh,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And
So
I honestly, but just on that scene real quick, I liked that scene a lot. It reminded me a lot of what I so prior to this episode, and I think you'd agree too. It's my favorite episode of Mando like ever. But the previous episode took that candle for me. Just the way the intricacy of the character. So basically, they pulled from the lore and made it an emotional, like kind of like landmark of the character. So like Bill Burr's character having participated in Operation Cinder. And it's like we know that from the video game and everything, as you told me, we know that from the video game.
yeah,
But seeing the emotional toll that took on him as a soldier and losing like his brothers in arms and shit like that, like that was dope to see. So seeing that flipped on to Cara Dune, and I can't remember, like I probably forgot. Did they mention she was from Alderaan before?
yeah, yeah.
Had they mentioned it?
Yeah, she mentioned that before. I think Moff Gideon actually mentioned that also when they were at the bar at the end of the
Oh,
first.
season one.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So it, yeah, I definitely, I'm pretty sure they did mention that.
Well, I didn't. Well, up to that point, I didn't know. So,
Yeah,
and it's like that was dope just to see her reaction. One, and you kind of see Mando. Like it's been dope to see Mando in these situations where he learns more about the people around him. That's what I've
yeah,
been liking about the show.
yeah. Because at that point, like when we first met Din Djarin, it felt like he didn't have like any like connections besides the cult that he was in.
Yeah,
It was only I go out into the outside world, like out of the sewer, just to do a job so I can get Beskar for you know or money or food for the people that are living below, into the sewers. Now that he's seeing that a lot of these people that live on the outside of that sewer that he was hanging out in and outside of Death Watch, and the followers, it basically showed him that that they're a lot like him, maybe,
yeah.
especially Cara Dune.
Yeah, like just seeing people, I feel like he relates to people that served and some type of structure and some type of order, only to realize that maybe this order isn't what I think it is. Because I think Baby Yoda or Grogu made him realize maybe like there is something more outside of this life. Like I feel like by the end of this series, I feel like, and I don't know if they'll do it. I think the end of this series should feature him going back to that lady's house that he fell in love with in season one.
Yeah,
I think it should end with that because it's like at that point he wasn't ready to accept that he can have a life outside of the foundlings and everything,
yeah.
and he just couldn't perceive it. But now I feel like Baby Yoda kind of introduced him to that,
Yeah. Well,
and
that's I feel like that's where Jango Fett was kind of leaving off. Jango Fett was a foundling who basically, his, I guess you will call her his fixer, the person that will give him jobs
mhm.
and constantly, give him bounties and all that stuff. She told him, she's like, "Hey, you gotta settle down in the video game." And he kind of thought to himself, maybe I should. And that's where Camino came into play. He actually had a chance to settle down, have a son, no, somebody to live on his legacy. And with
I mean, man, don't need to get some poontang. That's basically what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah. So I have a question for you. Since you're pulling up the episode previous, do you think Din Djarin was a super commando for the Imperials? Because he took off his helmet and his face was scanned and it accepted it.
Hmm.
And the only time that we've ever seen Imperials and Mandalorians mixed together was with um Gar Saxon's Imperial super commandos in
Let me
Rebels. Do you remember where he's wearing the
Yeah,
red and white?
yeah.
Do you
Mm,
think he was a part of that?
I mean, he might have been because, like, I mean, they kind of made it seem like the foundlings found him, but what if it was Gar Saxon that found him when he was a kid or whatever, or maybe somebody from
Maybe,
that?
maybe, but we also gotta remember that Gar Saxon. I don't know if Gar Saxon House of Isla, was that him? Um, if he was, then most likely it was probably maybe him or
Mm.
somebody else. But for Din Djarin to get pulled into a cult like the followers, I most likely he was, he left his actual, like, the Death Watch after, the Empire, and actually went to the followers, and who knows? It
Yeah,
would be
and by the way, if you're like part of a cult called the Followers, I'd suggest joining a different cult. Maybe a cult called the Leaders. Just to mix it up.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. But yeah, I feel like there's some areas that would be nice to know, especially with that, because I was like sitting there and I was like watching it, and I was like, how is he getting his face scanned? Like,
yeah. I didn't think about that either, honestly.
yeah, yeah. All right, so continue it all with this episode that came out this Friday.
So yeah, I also I like that. Obviously, the fight and the fight in the bar between the Mandalorians, like, oh, two two Mandalorians walk into a bar. What happens? Like,
Yeah, well, there's four now, and then two of them are level-headed, two of them are
two of them
but
clearly like have a type of sexual energy going on, and they want to bang each other. So they just decided to fight each other instead.
I did think that was out of line for Bo-Katan to call out Boba like that, though, because
Yeah,
I do feel like Boba definitely, considering that at the time that Boba was rising up to actually be a Mandalorian, even if he wanted to, the Mandalorian people were in disarray. So even if he wanted to go back to Concord Dawn with, where his father's from, and actually, following his father's footsteps, it would have been, kind of hard to do that, especially since, a lot of them, even the protectors and all them, are just gone, and it's terrible for Bo-Katan to actually call him out for something that he can't help.
I kind of found it funny. It was kind of like different sects of like the Crips or whatever, like just arguing over shit. Like, nigga, you ain't gang,
Yeah,
nigga, you ain't gang. What? What? You said I ain't
like,
gang, son?
you ain't gay. You a test tube baby.
You a test tube Crip, son? What you
Yeah,
talking about? But but yeah, that fight was definitely pretty cool, and I liked how it's weird because like she was just like in their episode when she premiered when it was I think what episode was that? Was that like five? I think
yeah, five or
no
four.
four. Five was Ahsoka. Five was Ahsoka. But yeah, so I just found it weird that you just got finished critiquing him for being this like fundamentalist zealot, but then you like show shades of your fundamentalism. So it's like, and
Yeah,
that's what's kind of dope about the Mandalorian culture is how they're always at war with each other and shit like that.
yeah,
But it's just like,
they're always like slowly picking apart, like, what, like, even you even saw that in Rebels, especially with all the houses. Like, they're all separated because the fact is that they see a problem with one house or the other. There's always going to be civil war, and I feel like maybe something's going to happen later.
yeah.
But
And
but yeah,
it's also I'd also say that I feel like I like how because usually when they bring back a legacy character like Bo Katan, who was around during the Clone Wars and everything, they had like they brought along that kind of veneer of I would say like kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Like there's a slight shade to her, even though she does have honor. Because you obviously you see her fight along Ahsoka Tano. Ahsoka's not going to fight on behalf of somebody that doesn't have honor and that she doesn't fuck with.
yeah,
But it's like you also see that shade of, I guess, ego and pride that drags her into that shade area. Like she's not like a complete asshole like previously. You feel me? Like
oh yeah,
she's more understanding than him, but even she has those red lines that she won't allow to be crossed. And it's like, I guess we'll get into it. You saw that line cross with the dark saber. Like
yeah,
as soon as he walked in the room wielding it, you just saw the look on her face just
Yeah,
completely changed. She was like, she was pissed. And I think she was more so pissed because I think she actually likes Mando. Like, she likes him as a person and everything. And
yeah,
it's like she realized what she would have to do eventually to get that saber from him.
yeah. But also at the same time, is you also know that she doesn't have to kill him because if Bo-Katan walked away from Moff Gideon,
Mhm.
then obviously we're gonna have, it would be cool to see a fight, but I don't want Bo-Katan or vice versa killing each other. I just feel like it definitely would be cool to see a fight between them. Kind of like a pre-Vizsla Darth Maul type of fight,
Yeah.
but we'll have to see.
I think
It's
it's
definitely
I think it's gonna end with Mando cutting her boob plate off.
oh my god.
To satisfy
That
the fans.
that was like when I saw that, I was like, women have boobs. Why are you
Why would she not wear a boob plate?
Yeah,
Like,
like, oh yeah, let me
mm.
get a breast reduction so I can
And
fit
Katie
a large.
Sackhoff, man, Katie Sackhoff got some there too. Like,
So, all right. So, how far are we getting into? What's the next scene? Because
I mean, I kind of skipped ahead because I thought it
yeah,
would have been a dope segue. But look, man, look, Luke Skywalker's like, no, we're not gonna go there yet.
yeah,
We're gonna
yeah,
save that. But like, I liked how they also show like they showcased a lot of character with with Bo Katan in this one. Like you saw the wisdom within her, you saw the understanding. Like even though she saw Boba Fett as kind of one of those red lines as well, which is I feel like which is why she called him out.
yeah,
Like she's not beyond working with somebody that she probably like finds morally ambiguous if it's for the right thing. And you
yeah.
see her kind of even show him respect when he was in like she was like, be careful. He's like, don't worry about me. And you saw
Yeah.
Boba like have to be the tough guy and everything, like, oh, I'll be fine.
So, would you think that Boba Fett would join the the Night Owls if they offered him a
Oh hell no.
position?
Hell
No,
no. Hell
I feel
no.
yeah, I do feel
Hell
like
no.
he's too much of an outlaw for that.
He's
He
yeah, he's like Clint Eastwood in the good, the bad, and the ugly. You feel me?
yeah, yeah,
And it's like that's the type of character. That's what I love about the character. And it's weird because as soon as he put the helmet back on, it's almost as if that like mysterious veneer of Boba Fett returned, even though we know who he is.
yeah. It totally and I guess it's because the way that he like performs his dialogue. I mean, Tamara Morrison, he just it's so subtle, but there's like it's almost like a military type of like talk. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's just the way he gives off his lines. It just kind of like it throws you back into like Return of the Jedi, or back when Jango Fett debuted it. It was just it's like, oh man, like is this the same character that I just saw wearing Tuscan, wearing the Tuscan rifle on the back, the cycler rifle on his back, and and wearing the cloth. Like it's just it's nice. It's nice to see that we have Boba Fett returning, especially because the fact is that we've always wanted this. We always wanted Boba Fett to return ever since they announced the Boba Fett movie that was supposed to come out a while ago, right
yeah,
next to the Obi-Wan Kenobi. Back when they were doing the anthology films. To see that it actually came to life is amazing. And to see the character actually be portrayed the way that he was portrayed before, and
even
give it that
better.
feel, even better. Yep.
Yeah, and that's what I like. And just to go, I guess we can just go back, like, because I feel like a lot of scenes, as great shows do, tied back to previous episodes. And I guess like one of the things I liked was that Boba Fett intro because it was like the way they introduced him in that episode, the slow burn and everything.
Yeah.
Even though I'm kind of sad because Timothy Oliphant, he's such a dope actor. I'm like, let him keep the armor, but it's like, oh, the real Boba Fett. All right, cool. Now you gotta get that shit back, bro. But the way
Yeah.
they introduced them, like just like in a John Wick type of fashion. That's what Boba reminded me of, John Wick, a lot, especially in that episode.
Yeah.
Just the way he was kicking everybody's ass and everything.
Yeah.
But in this episode, I feel like I don't know, man. Just and then on top of it, just adding over to the Mandalorian culture, it kind of finally lived up completely to what the show was, which is the Mandalorian by showcasing all these men. Now all we need is Sabine now to show up,
Yeah.
but like showcasing all these different Mandalorians and exploring the different culture and sex of the Mandalorians, like that was dope to see. and kind of seeing conflict within it, like you like that constant conflict, like you said, that's always there.
Yeah,
And I guess that'll take us to the next scene, which is basically like the raid of Grant of Moff Gideon's cruiser. Like
yeah,
again, like Bo-Katan, just how wise she is as a tactician as well is something that I really appreciated too. Because to me, that's something that was like kind of skipped over in the Clone Wars finale. You feel me? Like it would have been dope to see her kind of put the plan together, I guess.
yeah, yeah. And you know, especially at the end of yeah, the Siege of Mandalore, it would have been nice to see a little bit more her throwing in her, tacticians like or tactical strategies to help herself get Mandalore to the back to where when her sister, ran it.
Yeah,
But it was nice. It was nice to see her actually throw something in, and this is where I feel like this women empowerment type of thing is done right.
exactly.
With characters that we feel have been fleshed out, have shown that they were, that they're willing to put in everything to save what they love. Not feeling like, oh hey, just because they're given a cause that they're already powerful and they'll get stuff done. No, we've seen these characters before do what they do, and together and doing stuff together, not as a single, can also get stuff done as well.
Like literally the squad consisted of like that whole squad that took down the cruiser consisted of mostly women.
Yeah, and it was awesome. It was awesome, especially what's her name?
Finnick.
Finnick. Yep,
Dog,
Finnick.
I
How
love
can
Finnick. I
yeah,
love Finnick because of Ming Na, bro. Ming Na, like literally, I got into her because of the Agents of Shield show, and
yeah,
it's like it's dope to see her stay within like the Disney family and everything. But I was kind of mad when they killed her character off in season one. I was like, damn, like you bring her in for one episode, now you find out that oh no, she's still alive, and as we'll talk about later, she's going to be in her own show. But
yeah,
yeah, man, like they don't like, and they give you like different types of powerful ladies, I guess. I honestly, speaking of which, since we just watched um what's it called, Rise of Skywalker, like nah, she'll be too young. I was about to say homegirl, pose girl, she would have been dope to see,
oh yeah,
but
yeah.
she would be younger, I guess. She would
Zuri
be young.
Bliss.
Yeah, she would be young.
That's one character I want to see them flesh out a little bit more. You
Yeah,
know,
and
uh,
flesh out Poe's story with that.
yeah, yeah. I just feel like there's some things that, like, especially in the sequel trilogy, that I feel like weren't given enough detail and to be put into the movie to just be shoved in there and like pushed away. Because I feel like that's what a lot of the sequel trilogy was doing, is that it was introducing stuff, but in order for you to find out what that was about, you had to buy the comic or you had to buy this.
Yeah.
With I feel like with a lot of stuff that the Mandalorian throws,
Mandalula.
yeah, Mandalorian, a lot of stuff that throws in there, I feel like it doesn't need to be summed up because or explained, because you can go like back and look at and watch Clone Wars to find out about Bo-Katan, or watch previous episodes of The Mandalorian to find out about this character like Finnick, Cara
Yeah.
Dune, or even the other Mandalorian chick. It's just, it's great to see that we're actually getting characters that are amazing and being put together that we've never, like, I would have never even thought that, like, Bo Katan would be working with Boba Fett.
I like that never caught even after they introduced both characters by that point, I never even thought about that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
because
like, yeah. But it's also like just like moving into the assault, seeing them work together too was pretty dope. Like just and seeing them like completely wreck shop. Like they just wreck shop. Like
oh yeah,
stormtroopers are trash, bro. But it's
yeah,
like even if they were good, like if they were good, like they would still probably get wrecked by them. Like
yeah,
even the scene when Kara's gun like jams and everything, and you're like, oh shit, they're in a tight spot. You just see her come out the elevator, start just blasting fools, like son, got you. Like that job, like that was dope, yo. Like
yeah,
and like seeing, I don't know, man. Like this show just does so much. I feel like this is going to be the next Game of Thrones if they play their cards right.
yeah, yeah. Hopefully not with the ending though.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, all right. So the next scene that I want to kind of get to is that while we're talking onto the basically all the girls together, is that one scene where they're on the bridge and they're above, the airlock, and Bo-Katan and the other girl fly off the bridge, and they fly underneath the bridge,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah.
Kara and Finnick take out the other two stormtroopers that are in front of them, but then six more show up behind them, and then you see Bo-Katan and the other girl fly up and just start lighting up. I'm like, dude, that is awesome. That is awesome to see, like, kind of like synergy a little bit. That
You even asked me during the episode, where the guy Mandalorian was. I honestly think they like just like, oh, he was on the side mission just so they could have like that all ladies team up. Now that I
yeah.
think about it, I just thought about it.
Well, but I feel like a good thing is to ask is where is the rest of Bo-Katan's tribe,
Yeah,
Clan
true.
Kreese? Because if there's more of them, we'll see more of them, which will be awesome. Because maybe we'll see, possibly the guy that brought in Din Djarin. Maybe he's still
Yeah.
alive. We don't know what happened. We don't even know who he was. It would be nice to see all that stuff. All right, so back to this episode, and I'm gonna start talking about the Dark Troopers, man.
I
God, what a
like him.
beatdown! What a
He
beatdown!
I like literally like when he was like clanging his helmet, I was like, this motherfucker must have a headache now at this point. Like he punched his helmet like 5 times. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
yeah, that shit gotta hurt.
but it was so awesome to see that the best car literally was indenting the wall behind him,
Facts.
and it wasn't even phasing his helmet. It was just bing, 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 and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, bruh.
Yeah, and seeing like just like actually like because we've seen Mando kick ass, we've seen him go through struggles and everything, but like seeing him like act like this is one of the first times I felt, yo, he might die. Like, yo, like this jump
Yeah,
might kill him. And it's like, him figuring out with the best car spear. Now we know that like best car is obviously the way to go with them and lightsabers as well. But like that fight scene was cool seeing him like work his way through it. But I think we should just get right to it when Moff Gideon, bro, is just standing there with Baby Yoda in the cell, like, because I thought he escaped for a minute. I thought
yeah,
he was gonna be gone, but it's like, oh nah, he in the cell, and like just seeing his like gears work when he figured out, like, even and seeing Moff Gideon like being actually a critical thinking villain, like understanding, like, oh okay, I'm gonna lose this, but there's a way that I can still win it,
yeah,
and basically I mean, setting it up to where, he has that battle with Mando. That was a dope ass battle, by the way.
yeah.
But
But
setting
yeah,
it up as a way to basically like pit Bo Katan and Mando against each other. That
yeah,
was dope to see.
yeah.
And I was like,
Because
oh,
you could
okay.
definitely, and you even said it beforehand. You were like, I think he just like, did he just not try? Because you were like, it kind of felt like that. It definitely gave off that vibe. Like, dude, that dude did not give 100%
Yeah, that
in
was
that
too
fight.
easy.
Yeah, and considering that he beat Bo Katan for it, he obviously just gave, you
Like he
know,
took a dive.
yeah, he took a dive just to make it, better for himself, which they kind of didn't in the end of
I
it.
mean, it does though, because that I think. Look, this is my theory, and I think it kind of adds to my theory. I think you're going to see, and I don't know if they talked about this in the Bloodlines book. I got to read this, but I think you're going to see like the formation, like you're going to see kind of like and I think that's what Cassian. Wait, is it no? Because Cassian's. I keep getting the timelines mixed up, but I think you're going to see some type of um format cover. I think you're going to see like a spy purge within the First Order and the New Republic, and I
Yeah.
think that there's going to be a spy embedded. You might even it's going to be in Homegirl show, Cara Dune show. I think that's what Cara Dune show is going to uncover. Because what is Moff Gideon the head of?
Oh, the ISB.
Exactly. They're like basically like the CIA of the fucking empire. So
Yeah.
it's like that would be dope to see them explore that. Like, oh snap, there's this like cell that exists within the fucking within the New Republic, and we basically gotta weed it out. And that's where the
Yeah.
the title comes from. So, but
Yeah.
also I think he has ties to Thrawn because look at how like I think I think it's gonna turn out to be that he's like Thrawn's protege. Because look at how he used his mind and knowledge of their culture, and that's a thing that's with Thrawn. He understands people's culture and use it against them. So look how he used the Mandalorian culture and basically flipped it to use it against them. Because even Bo-Katan knew when she was looking at it like, damn, this nigga got us. Like, because
Yeah,
I definitely can't take that John from him, and like we're gonna have to fight for this shit. But it's like right now we got these dark troopers coming. But just seeing that, that's why I'm like, all right, yeah, Thrawn is definitely at play somehow within all of this. Like, and and I guess with his move, I guess we'll move right into it. Like, I thought a couple people was about to die. Honestly,
yeah.
I wasn't expecting a Jedi to show up. I was expecting maybe Ahsoka, because I turned to you, I was like, is Ahsoka going to show up? You were like, oh, I don't, the heck. Or I thought she was going to pop up behind him and jack him up.
Yeah.
But nah, Luke Skywalker shows up in this wreck shop, dude. Like, and seeing Grogu like kind of realize what was happening too was cool.
Yeah.
And but dog, like, oh my god, man. Like, you just saw me freaking out like the whole time. I'm just yelling like, oh shit, oh shit, no. No, I did a fin. No,
Yeah.
no.
As soon as that X-wing showed up, dude, my smile went from ear to ear. Like, I looked at you and I saw your face, and your face just lit up like a Christmas tree. And like, dude, your reaction was amazing, because I watched that this morning. I watched the whole episode this morning before you watched it. I didn't want to tell you anything. I didn't want to spoil it for you. And I was just like looking at you with like I was just, it was just amazing, because it felt like, dude, like, this is what we've been waiting for. This is the actual pinnacle of like everything that we've been waiting for.
And it's like, it's weird. And I guess we'll see. It was weird because we decided to just fuck around and watch Rise of Skywalker right after this. Right, like right after we watched Mando. And it was like you just see Luke in this movie. You're like, oh, what's up, Jake Skywalker? Because it's like,
Yeah,
that's Luke Skywalker, the
yeah.
motherfucker in Mando. That's Luke Skywalker.
And
And
you
it,
know what's crazy is that you have Mark Hamill playing Luke Skywalker, like actually in,
yeah, I thought it was Sebastian Stan at first, but
yeah, yeah, and it, in Rise of Skywalker, you have Mark Hamill playing him exactly there too, but it feels like totally like night and day. Like,
yeah.
it didn't feel like this character went from here to here to here and turned into the Luke Skywalker that we got in the sequel trilogy. It felt like, okay, this is the Luke Skywalker we have right now. From Return of the Jedi, we have the Luke Skywalker in Mandalorian that like basically is just a better version of the Return of the Jedi version.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden it just somehow just, oh, okay, there we go, we got that Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
But it was just amazing to see that his lightsaber form like was like fine tuned, like especially the way that he, like, did you see that deflection shot from the back?
Yeah. I still think Ahsoka would wreck him lightsaber to lightsaber. She would wreck Luke.
Oh yeah, yeah, because she has what she considers, more time, more experience in the
Yeah.
battlefield, you know.
But it's like, but I've always like, and I don't know if this is like still a thing or not, but I always like read, like, I forgot where I read it at, but that like basically like Jedi with green lightsabers like rely more on their force abilities than actual like lightsaber combat.
Yeah, yeah, I
and
would say
and
that.
and then I heard, and then I read, I forgot where I read this at, but like, so basically the green lightsabers represent like the ones who are more in tune with the force. Blue lightsabers are more for the knights, people, hand-to-hand combat. As well as purple, but purple is that they're giving more into their anger and shit like that, like tapping into the dark side a little bit.
Yeah.
And then light, the other colors, they never really went into it. I'm forgetting where I read that at or what video I watched, but
I know what you're talking about. You have like Qui-Gon Jinn, who was a Jedi consular, uh
exactly.
Jedi Knight. Then you have basically Mace Windu, who used Vapad. That's why his was purple, is because he would enhance his dark side, not dark side, his fighting ability by using the dark side.
Mhm.
But they never, we never knew what
And that's
white.
why he was able to beat Palpatine, probably.
Yeah, yeah. We don't know. Like, I guess basically, white lightsaber just means a new life
Because
to.
yeah, Ahsoka's the only one we've really seen in canon with white lightsabers.
Yeah, yeah. I'm guessing that it means that there's new life into the Force that's in the kyber crystal is what's called, because it went from a bleeding period, now it went to a healing period, which basically, I guess, made it pure again.
Yeah,
It's a repurification of, I don't
because
know.
that's how she got those lightsabers.
Yeah, yeah,
She killed an Inquisitor and bled the lightsaber back to the light.
yeah, yeah.
So,
She did the
but
opposite of what Vader did. Vader took a
yeah,
Jedi's lightsaber and bled it to,
yeah, the dark
turn.
side.
Yeah, yeah,
That's what's dope that his Padawan was able to do that basically. Like,
yeah,
but I also think that so with Luke Skywalker showing up, I definitely think that Ahsoka's scenes in Mando takes place before that end credit scene from Rebels. Like I think Ahsoka just left the temple and she's figuring out what's going on in the galaxy. Because remember, like from Rebels, she had to stay in the temple to not fuck up the timeline and shit like that.
yeah, yeah,
It's kind of dope now that we can talk like time travel in Star Wars now. It's kind of dope.
yeah.
But
Because I feel like when it comes down to time travel, I feel like Rebels did it well because they didn't make it that. Oh yeah, well,
they didn't
we
make time travel the central thing in
yeah.
that episode or of the show going forward.
It didn't make it that, okay, now that we have time travel, anything that the directors or the writers mess up later, we can
We,
use that to,
yeah, because they haven't mentioned the world between worlds since, which is I remember I turned to you when we were watching Rise of Skywalker. I said, what if that's what they're like Ray and Kylo are doing? They're transferring shit through the world between worlds. But
yeah,
that's a whole nother conversation. But
yeah,
um, but like it was kind of like, and this is where I feel like Dave Filoni shines because I feel like the World Between Worlds was used as a thing to push Ezra and solidify Ezra as a light side user. Like
yeah,
basically that was his ultimate test was to bring back Kanan, and he chose not to bring back Kanan, and that is what solidified him in the light. Although I would still like to see a dark Ezra. I don't think we're going to see it. I think we're going to see a light Ezra and
yeah.
possibly introduce the Yu Van Zong. Possibly. That's why he hasn't come back from the outer regions, but Thrawn is back.
Caleb, say it with me.
What?
Use on
Yuzan
Vong.
Vong. I said it right.
No, you said something totally different.
Oh, Yuzan Vong.
There you go.
So, but it's like, that's what, and I feel like Filoni did a good job. Now, although Peyton Reed directed this episode, Peyton Reed is the director of Ant-Man and the
Yeah,
Wasp.
yeah,
And just a quick side note for Marvel, I'm kind of pissed that they didn't give him the Fantastic Four gig. They gave it to John Watts, but
yeah. I feel like definitely he would have did good in
yeah,
Fantastic.
he pitched the Fantastic Four like it was going to take place in the 60s and everything and be like a period piece type film.
Yeah.
But Peyton Reed, he directed the Frog Lady episode too. I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. All right. Um. So should we get to the ending?
I guess the ending, man, that was one of the hardest. It's so hard to say goodbye,
Yeah, dude.
dog. Like that, you just see it like it felt like he was kind of fighting it at first. The way he said to Luke Skywalker, he's like he doesn't want to go with you, and it was kind of like I don't know, man. It's like the end of an era. You feel me? Like Baby Yoda definitely sparked a lot of interest in the show. I feel, and it's like honestly, to be real with you, I found it annoying when I first watched. I'm like, oh, he's gonna be carrying around a kid the whole fucking time. Like that's kind of boring and like goofy. But I came to like it more and more as you saw that the relationship
Yeah.
develop. And it's like now that they're going their separate ways, it's like, damn, son. Like,
I could kind of see their relationship like have you ever played the Telltale's Walking Dead?
no.
All right, so if people are watching kind of see this, it's kind of like a connection that I made is that Lee and Clementine from The Walking Dead,
Mhm.
and
Oh, is that video game he was playing that time? The one game he was playing? I remember you were playing it a while back.
yeah, yeah, that and basically Din Djarin and Grogu, it was kind of like that. It was like showing somebody the world, even though you don't know the world. Like with the Walking Dead, it was like, okay, nobody knew like how to live with the zombies and stuff like that, and neither did the little girl. But she still didn't know how to live her own life either way. You know, just like Grogu. Grogu is a kid. He doesn't know how to live his life. Din Djarin didn't know the world around him. The galaxy, was just basically something that was still new to him as well, even though you know, he's been
Traversed
around.
it fairly, but he's always looked through it through the lens of being, part of the followers. So it's
Yeah,
like,
Yeah.
That it was kind of, and that's why I'm like, it's like, where does he go from here? Because like he broke so many of his rules for for Grogu, like removing his mask. How many, like he removed his mask twice prior to the end, that end scene,
Yeah, two
but
times.
two
Two
times,
times.
like
Yeah, two times for organic beings to see his face.
yeah,
We've seen it three times, so he broke it three times.
oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, end of the first end of the first season. Yeah,
Yeah, so it's like it was dope to see just that goodbye, but also like just closing it off on so much uncertainty. Like, what's his quest now? What does he do? Like,
yeah,
does he but I think basically he's gonna be palled around with Bo Katan the first half of season three, and I think I think I'm going to like this a lot because as you know, like look, I like the Mandalorians and shit like that. Like I like the space battles, but my thing with Star Wars has always been like the
the Jedi.
spirituality and the
Yeah,
Jedi and everything. I'm it's going to be dope to see like a conflict of people's like religious values in the Mandalorian because I think basically Den is going to be put in a situation where like the armor is basically like, nah, you got to keep that lightsaber. Like this is our chance to rule Mandalore the way we see it fit, the way we see it should be. And it's like Bo Katan is going to be kind of like that opposing figure. Like so, in a sense, Bo Katan might end up being a seasoned villain, which would be
yeah,
kind of be cool to see.
yeah. Now,
And at
one thing.
that point, is she the villain or is Mando the villain at that point?
Yeah, yeah. That's definitely gonna be a line that will be blurred. Like that will be a blurred line right there. Now, one thing I was thinking is that now that you brought that up, that so the heavy duty Mandalorian in the first season, his name was Paz Vizsla, most likely part of House Vizsla.
Mhm.
So I wonder what side he would choose in all of this because
See, you
his
talking to the wrong person because, like, you literally, I know all the Mandalorian shit because of you. Honestly, like, I was never fascinated in the Mandalorians until you started talking to me about them, and then
yeah,
obviously now that the show came out, because like I was always into it was either like the Jedi or the Sith, and then like I like the occasional like bounty hunter and shit like Cat. I fucking loved Cat Bane and
yeah, yeah,
Rebels. He just reminded me so much of like the I don't know if he's called the ugly, but basically like the bad guy and the good, the bad, and the good, the bad, and the ugly, like the
yeah,
opposed. I forget what the actor's name is, but the guy who was basically like the antagonist to Clint Eastwood in that movie, in those movies. He kind of Cat Bane reminded me a lot of that guy. Like he's not the clean cut, clean shaven cowboy. He's like the bad guy. Like I just love this character so much, man. He's such a badass.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, and I think this leads us to the ending, the post-credit scene.
Man. But before we get to that, I have to say one thing. Actually, no, let's get to that. Then I'll say my thing after that. So
Okay.
yeah, that bruh, like that NC, like so home. You said homeboy, the actual guy on the throne was the guy from the end from Jedi. What was his
Yeah,
name again?
Bib Fortuna.
Ben for yeah, he
Yeah.
like so
Which I didn't know he was alive. I thought he was dead, just like because he was there when Boba Fett got thrown in or smat or he flew himself into the Sarlacc pit. I don't know what happened first.
yeah.
Um,
That's
but
why he was like, Booba, I thought you were dead. Like, what are you
yeah,
doing? It's kind of like the Godfather. Like, I thought you were dead. What are you doing?
yeah. So it went from, Finnick taking out everybody that was there, Boba coming in, talking to well, not even talking. He didn't say one word to Bib.
Facts. He just walked in and blasted fool. Like, get off my throne, bitch. Like,
Yeah,
yo.
and Bib moved to the side, sat in the throne, basically taking his place in the underworld.
That kind of was like a Game of Thrones moment, though.
Yeah.
That was like, like literally, like I was like, oh shit. So it's like, and then the announcement that he's getting his own show.
So what's crazy is I never put this together. Darth Maul died in episode 1, came back in Clone Wars, and literally took the throne of the underworld. Boba Fett died in Revenge in Return of the Jedi. came back and took the seat of the underworld. Two characters that were like really shrouded in like we don't know who they are came
Oh,
back and literally took the seat to the underworld 2 times.
man, that's a movie waiting to be made. A Darth Maul versus Boba Fett crime thriller movie, bro. Oh my god, like kind of like assassin versus assassin. Dude, that would have been so badass to see, bro. Oh
Dude,
my god, that would have been so badass to see. Of course, we can't get it because Darth Maul dead. He dead, long dead at
yeah,
this point.
yeah, he was killed by Ben Kenobi. So what do you think is gonna be like about the show? What is your thoughts on this new book of Boba Fett?
So I think the Book of Boba is definitely going to explore like the crime elements of the Star Wars universe even more, like even deeper than like what Mando gave us with like the Assassin's Guild and everything.
Yeah,
I think you're going to see the down in the dirt, gritty type of film. Like I think you're going to see like a combination of like the Western and the kind of like the like mob era, like in like city. I definitely think we're going to see Coruscant in his show. I think we're
yeah.
going to see Coruscant.
Well,
And I definitely think we're going to see the remainders of the what's left of the crime syndicates and everything. Cause like basically Maul came in and like
yeah.
destroyed
Black
everything.
the Black Sun's not there. We know that the Pike Syndicate is probably still there because they have Corellia. Or
Yeah.
not Corellia. What is that? Um,
Kessel?
Kessel. That's what it is. Kessel. I don't know why I thought Corellia because Han Solo. But one thing that I was thinking to myself is it's good to see that we're having the crime syndicate back, but I
Hmm.
want to see what what happened after Jabba the Hutt passed away and Tatooine, and what is going on with the underground organizations on Tatooine
I
itself.
I think that's what you're gonna see.
Yeah, because like we've seen basically most of the time that we've seen the crime syndicate and on Tatooine, we've seen it with slaves and basically Jabba the Hutt and his palace and doing everything that like a gangster would, especially in Clone Wars. You saw him like he had power that was like that the Republic didn't even want to touch.
Yeah.
So I wonder what Bib Fortuna actually left for Boba Fett to pick up
See,
because
I think you're going to realize that, and I think they're going to kind of undercut that scene because it's like when you see Boba Fett sitting in that throne, it's like, oh shit. But I think they're going to undercut it by showing that, oh, like Bifford, he kind of ran it into the ground. Like, and I think it's going to be Boba having to build it back up. And I think it's going to, again, it's going to be Boba's ego that gets the best of him. Because I think at the end of it all, like you said, like something happened to Boba, which is why you see the slave one at Maz Kanata's castle. I think it's going to end up being something happens where he dies and maybe Finnick takes his, he leaves everything to Finnick and she goes and does her own thing, whatever. But I think it's going to be more of like it's going to be kind of like a Scarface type of movie.
that would be interesting. I would
Like
definitely like to see that.
like a self destruction. Like it's going to end with like Boba Fett doing like a whole bunch of coke and going out and Jabba's
Yeah,
palace with a blast. Like, you want to say hello to my little friend? You're just going to see him going off and everything. But it's going to be dope to see. Like I think it's going to be dope to see a lot of the crime elements. Like I said, I hope they explore like basically they take the crime elements of different time periods like in our world. So take the crime elements from like the 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s and take the crime elements from the old west and take the old, the crime elements of like the Roman days and shit like that. They can do that in Star
yeah,
Wars because there's so many different cultures and species at different points in their evolutionary period that they can do that. So they could go to Coruscant where it's like, like old school 30s, like Al Capone type shit. Then they could go to Tatooine where it's like a straight up Western. Then they could go to, I don't know, the planet Bo Katan was on in episode 4 or 3, go there and it's like a whatever type. It's like a Roman Empire type or like a 14, like a night, medieval type of crime era. There's so much they can do with this and just explore. Like this could literally be like the idea Lucas had with 1414, but
or 1313.
1313, my fault, 1313. But literally just branch it out, just out, outside of Coruscant. You feel me? To the
Yeah,
overall crime elements of the galaxy. So
yeah. So I think it'll definitely answer some questions, maybe about if there's any huts left.
Hmm.
and what happened possibly to Jabba's son.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Jabba's son that
Yeah,
Ahsoka saved.
yeah, yeah. Because I know in Resistance, I'm pretty sure in Resistance that they had a hut come back. I could be wrong. Um, but so far from what we know is that Maul took out a lot of the huts, and left most of the power just hanging in swing
Yeah,
for a lot of for the Black Sun to take over. So considering that Boba Fett is now taking over, is he going to try to reclaim a lot of that back? Is he going to leave some of it out of there? Is he going to start war with the Pikes? Is he going to restore Black Sun to where it used to be? It would be nice to see that stuff. It would kind of be a change of pace to see that instead of tearing down a criminal organization, he's building
it's
one up.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So, yeah. So I guess we'll go ahead. Unless you had any more thoughts on Mando,
Um,
any more, anything else you wanted to throw in there.
I think that would be all.
All right, cool. Because I'm definitely trying to move into this Disney sleep, man. This Lucasfilm sleep, man. Like, so Disney had their investment day or whatever. I forget what day it was on, but basically we're gonna be talking about the Lucasfilm, John, and I'm gonna be having Grav on. If you want to stick around till later, me and Grav are doing comically speaking. You can hop on there so we can talk about all the other Johns.
Yeah, yeah,
But I'm excited for what's coming from Star Wars because I feel like they have a plan now. I feel like they're not going to half-ass shit, and I think it's going to be more bringing in either Legends lore or exploring kind of canon that's up in the air right now.
yeah,
The only thing I'll say this, and we'll talk about what they have. The only thing I feel like is missing is some type of animated show or live action show that fills in the gap between Jedi and The Force Awakens. I feel like that's the only thing we're missing. Like we got Mandalorian, obviously, but I'm talking about like something that's closer to the Force Awakens side.
yeah,
And it's
yeah,
like I feel like that's the only thing we're missing. And I also feel like I want to see that Clone Wars. So you know how like I talk about all the time how I feel like Clone Wars makes the prequels worthwhile.
yeah,
I need that series for the sequel trilogy as well, and
yeah.
I
To
don't see
to
them
make it
doing that.
to make it digestible, I definitely need something that will, help it digest. Some fiber shows, as I
Yeah,
call them. Something that I don't know if that's possible now that I keep watching the sequel trilogies, but if they could, maybe take an attempt to it because the way that the sequel trilogies are laid out, it's just it's kind of an eyesore for me, or
yeah.
even a headache. I want to see them actually be, worthwhile, not, something that I just constantly can't watch because, it's just like, oh, that's not my Star Wars. I don't want to constantly keep doing that. I want to actually
Exactly.
be able now that these films are solidified in Star Wars history, you know, and they're not going anywhere anytime soon. People keep saying that it's not going to happen, so we might as well try to make them better by giving them a Clone Wars esque type of remodeling.
And I think the groundwork is there. Like I think it was Star Wars theory that brought up they can do like for one of the ways you could kind of redeem. It was either Star Wars theory or Thor Skywalker, but they basically brought up the idea of having Luke. The reason why Luke retreated was because when Kylo turned and joined with Snoke, he had a fear of dying, but not dying because he's afraid of dying, but dying and what could happen with his body and his blood being used. Because
Yeah,
because you got to remember, Moff Gideon, like he succeeded, he finished his plan, like he got the blood from Grogu and did what he had to do.
yeah,
So it was like, I feel like that's what Luke Skywalker would fear later on. So that's like, I'm like, maybe they create Mara Jade with Grogu's like, blood or whatever. What if like Mara Jade is like, like a clone?
yeah, or even like a kind of like a yeah, or like a strand cast,
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. I would like to see her like actually as her own like character, not like a clone or anything like that. I would kind of like to see her as like an assassin that like almost like an Asajj Ventress type character.
Well, they could still do that, but just have it that she was like a test tube baby, basically.
Yeah, yeah,
And that's something I feel, but I would see, I don't know if I would, and it's like, I feel like she should be apart from the Sith and the Jedi, and kind of like, what if she was like an assassin for Thrawn that he trained as like a Jedi or like a Sith, basically, like
Yeah,
specifically to fight Sith or in Sith and Jedi, basically Force users.
yeah, that would be pretty cool. He would definitely need to go, like, cause considering that he would collect artifacts, I could see that happening because maybe he collected Jedi artifacts and was able to give her Jedi text or like Sith text to help her, go through her training,
Mhm.
help her out, you know, like by going finding artwork and stuff and helping her like with that. That would be pretty cool. That would be a cool idea.
They can literally do those timid or the Thrawn novels, the Thrawn trilogy and everything. They
Yeah,
can literally do those novels within Disney Plus, and that's because it's like you have uncharted territory with Thrawn. Like, obviously, he's not around when the Force Awakens happens because like a Palpatine obviously like consolidated a lot of power. So I feel like Thrawn either died during the whatever happens in the Ahsoka series, because I definitely think he's going to be the main villain of the Ahsoka series. So,
yeah,
but I would say, so do you have a list of the stuff they announced?
I do. All right, I'm gonna start naming them out, right?
You think you can you screen share it?
Um,
Do you have it on your screen? I don't know if you had it on your screen or not.
Let me see.
Oh, let me make sure. You should be able to share it.
Okay, nope.
What it say?
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, there you go. You should be able to do it now.
All right, can you see it? Oh wait, no, no, no. There we go.
Bet I see it.
All right. So what should we cover on first?
I was like, just what are you most excited for? Honestly, I guess I'll just start with that.
I want to see what Accolade is about. Like that with the slash, the lightsaber slash in it, and especially the
Facts.
way that they described it. I want to see what what are they gonna be pulling out of their sleeve this time. I want to know exactly what is gonna be the acolyte. Like that is something that is, especially because of the time period right after or right during the High Republic or
Mm.
before. It has to be a Sith or something. I don't know. It's that or Ben Kenobi or Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sorry.
I think you're going to be surprised by what I'm looking forward to.
Let me guess. Andor,
No, that's my second though.
Vision.
Rogue Squadron,
Oh yeah, I
and mostly because Patty Jenkins is directing.
that I was kind of interested in as well
Dude, did you
because
see the trailer for it?
no.
Dog, well, they didn't drop a trailer. So basically, it starts off Patty Jenkins is just like randomly roller skating. This is like on her Twitter and shit. Like, so I found it on her Twitter. I didn't know it was Star Wars related, but when they said Patty Jenkins was directing, I instantly went to her Twitter to see if she announced it. And it was like this random video of her like roller skating. I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll watch it. You just see her roller skating, and she starts talking about like her dad was in the military and shit, and he was a fighter pilot and everything. And then you just see her like roller skating, and then she pulls up to like a Jeep and she starts talking about how she always wanted to fuse together like some type of fiction with her father's service as a fighter pilot and everything. And she was like, finally, Disney has offered me the opportunity to do that. And you just see her like flip up this orange thing that you didn't know what it was at first. She flips up this orange thing, and it's a fucking jumper. It's an X-wing jumper, and you just see her walking on this tarmac towards a fucking X-wing, sitting on the tarmac. And I was like, oh shit, it's gotta look. So I'm really excited for that because like just like that dogfighting kind of like another war film within that, like how Rogue One was a war film, but seeing
Yeah.
that, yeah, seeing that war film through the lens of the fighter pilots, you feel me?
Yeah.
And that's the way she described the film was going to be. Oh, untitled Taika Waititi film.
It's so good. Story.
You're breaking
Who
up hard body, man.
I don't know why. I can hear you breaking up as well, and
I hear you clear now. You're clear now.
All right, cool. So basically, continuation of Ahsoka for the Mandalorian. Okay. Um, Untitled Taika Waititi film. I guess he's doing maybe like a actual like continuation of the trilogies.
Maybe like I could see I couldn't actually not take that back. I couldn't see him because Taika Waititi is such an out there director. I couldn't see them letting him like steer the ship for the next trilogy. And I think they're trying to stay away from the trilogy films for a while. But I definitely could see him doing like a like kooky type of movie. I don't know, but I definitely don't think it's a trilogy film. I think he's gonna work on it and see what it is. But
Yeah.
that Obi Wan
Uh,
Kenobi, that concept art for Obi Wan looked amazing though that they showed.
yeah, I have to see that. Um, so The Acolyte is a new series that will be a mystery thriller that will take the audience into the galaxy of shadowy secrets and emerging dark powers in the final days of the High Republic era. So this is like closer to the end. That sounds actually amazing.
Yeah,
You know, I
Leslie
never
Headland's directing too. She's like people have been buzzing about her. So
yeah. All right, so we know that Hayden Christensen's returning for Obi-Wan,
yeah,
and I, I want to know how this will play out. You know, it made me hungry for this new this show, and oh man,
I feel
it's
like this
like
is the showdown we've always wanted to see because at least for me, I thought that their fight in the prequels was so lackluster, like so just dumb. Like I don't know. For me, like you know how I feel about the prequels. Like, I'm not going to go in on the prequels right now. But
yeah,
however, that's going to be actually we are going to go into that, but that's going to be the last segment that we're going to go into. But
okay,
it's like I feel like this is they're going to give us a final fight and conflict between them that will really resonate, and you'll feel it more when you see um Obi-Wan and A New Hope basically saying he's more machine now than man. So I feel like give us that, but also give us that exploration into Kenobi as well. So
yeah,
I'm definitely
I
excited for Bad Batch too, though.
yeah, that would yeah, you switched it up on me. I'm sitting there, I'm thinking, I'm like,
My bad, my bad.
Bad
Nah, go ahead with
Ba-
Kenobi. Nah, I just saw the Bad Batch under it, but you go ahead and talk about Kenobi. I just saw that under it. I just had to like a random
yeah,
one.
I definitely I want to see exactly what is going on with Obi-Wan at that time period. Like, because the fact is that he's taking on a new role, you know,
Yeah.
instead of being like his life surrounded himself around the Jedi Temple and the Clone Wars and everything like that. Everything like that dramatically ended with him, cutting down his own brother, and now he's trying to figure his way out, and now I guess he's coming across Anakin Skywalker again to just basically do it all over again. Maybe he feels like he's stuck in a loop that he's never going to escape his apprentice's like downfall, and it's definitely going to be a hard pill to swallow, which I can't wait to see that. So you just started talking about Bad Batch. Let's see. So we did get a new trailer, and what did you think about it?
I thought it looked good. It basically just looked like a continuation of Clone Wars, literally. Like I'm like, all right, bet I'm for it. Like literally, as soon as I saw the trailer, I was like, this looks cool. I'm going to be watching this, like definitely. And it's
Yeah,
like Dave Filoni is still Dave Filoni. He's producing it and everything, so it's something I'm definitely excited for. And like honestly, everything in here I was excited for. Minus like the other minute stuff, like the kind of like sidebar stuff. Everything on here, I'm excited for the most part.
yeah. It was definitely a great time to start releasing stuff for Star Wars and actually, you know, putting out stuff that I feel like I would like. Like I don't
Exactly.
I kind of can't wait to scroll down to go see what Visions is about. But Bad Batch, I can't wait to see this. You know, these highly trained clones that aren't 100% clones. Besides, Echo going against their own brothers that they don't even consider their brothers. They're basically just they know that they're clones of Jango Fett, but they know that they're nothing like their clone counterparts because the fact that they have each a different personality. You have Bricker, who's strong and kind of dumb and scared of heights. You have Hunter, who's basically like the leader and you know kind of has everything figured out and treats his team
Has like
with
a Snake
respect.
Plissken vibe to him.
Yeah, dude, like or like Billy from the Predator, it
Yeah,
kind of gave me that vibes. And all of his other, brothers basically have their own like abilities to them. I want to see that going against, both themselves. Like I want to see how they like kind of stack up against them. It would be awesome to see that. I can't wait. Sounds great.
yeah. And I think you're going to see like that conversion from like the clone troopers to like the stormtroopers too. I think you might see that. So that'd be
Yeah,
cool to see.
yeah.
Rex could pop up in this.
Dude, I want to see the Bad Batch go up against Clone Commandos because we've only seen Clone Commandos in Clone Wars two times with uh Gregor
Yeah, depending.
and
Go ahead.
you saw him at when the Jedi died.
Uh,
Yeah, you saw I forget what their company was called, but they were basically the game um Republic Commando was based around them.
see, I would want to see. I want to see that definitely, but more so for me, and depending on how long the show goes, I would definitely like to see them go up against Death Troopers, so we can actually see like how badass the Death Troopers are. Because
Yeah,
it's like I feel
yeah.
like we've seen them in Rogue One, and it's like they were kind of like a letdown, honestly, for real, for real. Let's be real, they were kind of a letdown. And where else have we seen? We've seen Death Troopers somewhere else. I can't think of
The
it.
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian, yeah. So definitely like because they look badass in that black armor. So it's like, when are we like, can we get badass Death Troopers? And it would be dope to kind of see that in this show. So
Yeah, yeah. And it would be nice to see the Republic's most elite force going against up against the Imps,
okay.
elite forces. We'll know when we see it. It'll be great to see Fennec show up in it. Um, I don't know who else might show up, but it's gonna most likely be good cast of characters.
Yeah, like that. And it could my guy show? No, he's dead at this point. I was gonna say Cad Bane.
Yeah,
I think he'd
that
be
would
dead
be
at
cool.
this point.
I would like him to
Could
have
he
it.
could he show up at this point?
I don't know because I don't know when that battle between Boba Fett and yeah. I
Oh,
want to see that go down though. I definitely want to see that go down. That
what
is
if we
one
see it in here? That would be
that
cool.
would that would be amazing. Like I kind of like have them like sitting on the sidelines, kind of like oh what's going on? Oh, two bounty hunters are going at it, because of a rivalry that the other Boba Fett's father started with Cad Bane.
See, I'm kind of just going on a quick sidebar, like quick second sidebar. I'm mad we never got to see because one of my favorite Star Wars books is the Dark Disciple book. I'm mad we never got to see that in the animated form with Asajj Ventress and everything. So
Yeah, yeah. I would definitely like to see that for people who have not read the book and for people who want to see, because we saw basically everything that played out in the book or basically Ahsoka's ending with Rex.
mm,
We kind of saw that. Well, we did see that for episode 7. I mean, season 7 of the Clone Wars, and we did get to see that play out in animated form. I would like to see that also played out in animated form because it's something that if people don't know and love Asajj Ventress, haven't went out go and watch that and kind of get the understanding of what happened.
Yeah.
All right, so we have Star Wars Vision. Star Wars will be a series of short animated or animated short films celebrating Star Wars through the lens of the world's best animated anime creators. So it's going to be like an anime show. Um, Forces of Destiny, is that what that's called?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. When Andor first showed up and he blasted that that guy at the beginning, it just made you think, what has done for the to complete his goals with the rebellion because he risked everything, did stuff that he did not want to do, and now he's
Hang, yo, stop your screen share real quick because I think that's what's making you break up because you're like breaking up hard about it again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Uh, yeah, yeah. So far, I was talking about Andor. Yeah, Andor, and about
Okay.
how basically everything that we've been told about in Rogue One is that he risked everything and that you know, that he did a lot of things that he didn't want to do to help the rebellion, and now we're finally
Mhm.
going to get to see that. It's something that I feel like is definitely going to be a crazy experience.
You ready for this?
Yeah,
This is going to be the homeland of Star Wars.
yeah,
This is going to be the homeland of Star Wars. This is going to be Cassian having to blend in, as a spy in different, locations and everything. But it's going to be like more of a, it's more, I think it's going to be more of those like realistic spy movies. I don't know if you've seen them before, like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy and,
yeah,
Homeland, things like that. And it's dope. I feel like this is going to be dope because, like you said, like just that scene when he shot the guy in the back and everything, and like us hearing about all these things he did in the name of the rebellion, like it's going to be cool to see. Like, and it's like Cassian is somebody like that's why it's my second favorite show because I see the potential of what the show can be and what the show can become. And
yeah,
it's like to me, and then Diego Luna is just he's a solid actor, but um the show has the potential to just like touch on great areas of the Star Wars universe that we wouldn't know. Like we already saw it in Rogue One where they kind of flipped the rebellion on its head in terms of like the rebellion always being like shown to us as like this righteous noble cause, and it's like,
yeah,
are they really? Because they've done some horrible things just like the Empire has
yeah,
done some horrible
yeah.
things.
Yeah, like okay, the Empire was taking kids from their home, but you have Cassian Andor just killing people because he doesn't want them spilling information about them. You
Yeah.
know, it it's it's basically like how far will you go to basically feel safe? To feel like you don't have a power looming over your head,
Yeah.
and if your morals are basically being blurred because you feel like what you're doing is right. You know, it'll definitely be an awesome show to see. So we also have a droid story. The series will introduce us to a new hero guided by the legendary R2D2 and C3PO.
Probably not
That's
going to
one
be
thing.
watching
I,
that.
I'll check it out. I kind of want to see. I hope it's not like a Dio type of character or anything like that, like a BB-8.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see like maybe like a protocol droid, something something different. Lando. What are your thoughts about Lando? What do you think Lando is going to be about?
I hope Lando is a continuation of that solo storyline because, like, as you know, like I've fallen in love with Solo. Like Solo, I can say is one of my favorite Star Wars films. Like, it's not in my top five, but it's definitely like up. It's up in like probably number six for me.
Yeah,
And it's like maybe my top five. I would have to sit and think about it for a while, but it's like if Childish Gambino is coming back, if Donald Glover's coming back to play Lando, that's something I definitely want to see. Because to be honest, I don't want to see Billy D. Williams. To be completely honest with you, unless it's like them. Like you brought up the idea of them being kind of like in tandem. So like Billy D. Williams has flashbacks of his
Yeah,
younger self, and his younger self is Donald Glover. Then I'd be
him.
cool. I'd be cool with that. But it's like, dog, I want to see I want to see Donald Glover's
Yeah,
Lando, and I want to see a continuation of the solo storyline. Like I want to see Kira pop up in the show. I want to see Han pop up in the show. And it's like so much they can do with Lando as a character. Like he's been so many places. Like we saw shit, we saw him in Rebels. Like
yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah. Well, because look at where Solo left that whole story off. Is that basically you have Han Solo coming back to visit him, you know, and take his ship off his hands.
Mhm.
So it would be nice to kind of have it like the way that maybe kind of like it have like a what's that, like, I don't know, where it's like you have your character in the future, maybe at like have Lando at Maz Kanata's castle, and like
Mhm.
telling and basically saying, hey, like yeah, there was this one time, because he always loves telling stories at the table. That's always him. He's sitting there telling the story and continuing Solo off of those stories. Continuing
That would be
basically,
cool.
yeah, like have it like that. That would
Kind
be
of like a
so
young Indiana Jones type story
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
Where that
yeah,
would be
like that.
dope. That would be dope.
Yeah, and I feel like with that, I definitely have a lot of optimism for it. I hope it doesn't disappoint me,
Hmm.
but I definitely feel like most likely it won't. And
Cool.
yeah, I think that's everything for Lando. And is that all the shows?
I mean, oh yeah, we gotta talk about Ahsoka, obviously.
Oh yeah. All right. So one thing about Ahsoka that I feel like will definitely be covered is if Ahsoka is ever gonna find Ezra, but if Ahsoka ever meets Luke Skywalker,
See, I think she has. That's how she knew
do you
about
think?
him. I think she has.
Yeah,
Whether it's in person or through the force, I think she knows who he is. I think they've communicated. I think that's why she told him to go there. And I think she was expecting Luke to find him.
yeah,
Because it's like, come on, you find like she would not be able to help herself if she found out, she had the opportunity to actually meet one, find out Anakin's sons, his children are still alive, and but then two, to actually meet them.
yeah.
So
And it'd been awesome to kind of see that, see that, like, because basically, Ahsoka was Anakin's world,
yeah.
besides Padme, you know, that was like, it was more like a father daughter type of ordeal when it first came out, well, not when it first came out, when it started developing, and then it started turning into more, like they were family.
Mhm.
It was a bond that like you thought would never be broken, and literally it's sad because Ahsoka didn't realize at first that Anakin was trying to you know basically help her out as much as possible, but the Jedi wouldn't let that happen, and he had so much to talk to her about, but like she had stuff to do, and that last moment they couldn't do that because of everything that was going down, and like and it would be nice for them to like for Luke and Ahsoka to kind of like have a bond like that, where it's like, okay, yeah, me and your father, we went back, and we fought in wars throughout the Clone Wars that and we had a bond that would never be broken. Even though your father turned to the dark side, I forgave him. I tried to save him. You did something I couldn't do. You know, that would be awesome.
Yeah. And then it's like, seeing that, I just like I said, I definitely think Luke is gonna pop up in her show. But again, I think that Mandalorian episode we saw was her first coming out of the temple, like one of her first missions out of the temple.
Yeah,
Like basically trying to figure out what's going on in the galaxy, you know, And I feel like she's talk. Also, I feel like I definitely feel like she's talked to Sabine at this point. I feel like she has
Yeah,
talked to Sabine, but that scene where we see like Sabine leaving with her to go look for Ezra, I don't think that happens maybe till at like basically that scene is a bridge, going to be a bridge gap between season 1 and 2 of Ahsoka. I think season 1 is going to be about her coming out of the temple and acclimating herself and figuring out what's going on in the world. And I think you're going to see like clips of the Mandalorian, that she was in,
yeah,
like but maybe from a different perspective, something like that. But then season 1 is going to be all about her figuring out the world around her, and season 2 is going to be about them going after Ezra. And I think you're going to see Sabine in season 1, but I think in season 2 you're going to see more of the Ghost Crew.
yeah. Now, one thing I didn't see in The Mandalorian is her owl that follows her.
He was there, or
He
she
was
was
there.
there. She was there. Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody pointed it out, and
I
this
didn't
right
see
here.
it. I have to rewatch it because when I was sitting there, I was like, you know, most of the time the owls follow because ever since that the trip to Mortis,
Hmm.
it was always following her, and that's where I got that, oh yeah, she's kind of like the embodiment of the sister, and Star Killer, if he ever shows up, which would be awesome,
Could be an
you
embodiment of a
know,
brother.
yeah, and have like maybe like a bat following him, you know, something that like points out like, hey, like, he has basically, something that tells, hey, maybe he has something mortal and that we don't see. That would be cool. I would like
Yeah.
to see him kind of be like a villain in the Ahsoka. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. Like because it's like, look, I like Galen Merrick and everything in the game and the video games. Obviously, the original story, couldn't, it can't exist in the way Star Wars is now. But
Yeah,
it's like you have so much room between, between the Last Jedi and or not Last Jedi, the Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, that you can like literally do a lot of these things that were deemed legends in that time span. Like I said, you can do like the Thrawn trilogy in this, time span. You can do Star Killer in this time span, just change aspects of his story around.
yeah,
So I,
yeah,
I definitely like your idea of tying them to Mortis, though. That would be pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah, because that's one thing that I feel like people, not people, but like the sequel trilogy forgot is that there's, like you're given a character all these powers and stuff like that, but you're not tying them to anything like Mortis or, anything like that. And it's
Mhm.
like, so how are they accomplishing these grand feats and not giving a backstory to why that's going on? Just because Ray is a Palpatine doesn't make her, a mega level being,
Yeah,
yeah, like just because, Kylo and Ray have a connection doesn't mean that, like that they're all automatically, able to teleport stuff. Maybe that there's a link between them that, connects all the way back to the, when Anakin visited Mortis. You know, there was something that happened that, throughout his bloodline, it just something, I don't know. I don't know where I was going there, but like it would be nice to kind of get an understanding on what's going on.
yeah,
But yeah, I can't wait. Honestly, all these shows that are that have been announced are definitely something that I can't wait for.
yeah.
I'll watch Visions. I'll check that out. I'll check out a Droid story. I'll check out everything because you know me.
I'll leave that to you.
Yeah. I'll give you a review on them. Um,
So
yeah,
yeah, I
but
guess. Oh, go ahead. What were you about to
yeah,
say?
I think that's everything that I wanted to talk about. To be honest.
Yeah, so I guess we close out here. We can do that other segment for next week. I think we should flesh that out more because I kind of want to do a debate with you about Lucas and the prequels, but I think we should
Okay.
flesh it out more
Okay.
instead of doing off the top. So we'll do that for next week's episode on top of whatever news drop.
All right.
So yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and close out Star Wars Sunday there.
All right. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you. Thanks for tuning in. As always, hit that thumbs up button that lets YouTube know that you're enjoying the videos. If you're listening to us on Spotify or whatever streaming platform you're on that you're podcasting, you're listening to the podcast from, definitely come to the YouTube page, hit that thumbs up and subscribe, and also share this, share it if you like it, share it. We're just two guys in the galaxy, talking about Star Wars. Good morning, hello, good morning. Sam knows what that's from. I'm not going to say what that's from.
Yeah.
But Sunday morning. Good morning. Star Wars Sunday mornings. Good morning.
Yeah.
But yeah, so definitely. So like I said, like, comment, subscribe if you're on YouTube, share if you're on everywhere else, and yeah, hop in the comment section. We want to hear what y'all think. Like, because we like, this is for y'all, the fans, so we want to geek out with y'all. So definitely comment on them Jones, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and tune out there. Peace. May the force be with you.